Libra, welcome to your monthly sidereal forecast for September of 2015. My name is Athen. So we've got a very powerful month this month. We have the eclipses taking place, and it's very much relating to our life path, which will be changing as it often does with the eclipses. We also have some very important aspects with the slow-moving planets and lots of retrogrades and directs, which I'll talk about. So I'm going to go through it one by one. If you have any questions, do let me know. Do watch your weekly horoscope for more information on this. And if you are new to this channel, new to Sidereal Astrology in particular, do check the description down below because this is very different from mainstream astrology. Your sign might be different, so you'll want to watch the right video. So let's go and look at this for you, Libra. So right off the bat on the first, we got a couple aspects to talk about. One, associated with your ruler, which is very important. Mars conjuncting up to Venus here right on the first, right on the cusp between your 10th house and your 11th house. So one thing that's significant about this is that when this happens, Mars goes into a very favorable position for Mars. First of all, in your chart, because he's still at the top of the chart where he likes to be, but in a sign that is finally a sign that he's either not neutral about, in an unfriendly sign like he was in Gemini, or debilitated like he was in Cancer. So now he's in a friendly sign. He's got his full vigor, his full energy, and I think there's a lot of excitement coming into this month in general for all of us. Now the excitement for you is, I think, to do maybe some networking, maybe to join some groups or community related things, maybe to spend some time with your friends. And all of these kinds of pursuits would be very, very good for you Libras, because this is where a lot of the energy is going to be taking place this month, and where the solar eclipse is going to start new beginnings for the next 6 months. Very powerful new transformations. So right at the beginning, if you are motivated, I highly recommend it. I think you can enjoy, if you haven't been already, those 11th house matters. It can also do with technology, innovation, progressive kinds of ideas also. And if you are continuing to reflect, you know, your ruler is going to go station direct here around the 5th and 6th. So this first week of the month, continue to reflect, continue to do that introverted thing, whatever it is. Take it easy, you know, that internal process. And I think you can learn quite a bit about yourself, generally speaking. And that'll fuel and facilitate the rest of the month, because once your ruler, Venus, starts to gain momentum, you'll find a lot more of that energy starting to build. But I think you Libras do have a lot of energy at your disposal anyways, but this will be much more on the extroverted sort of energy, where your plans, your goals, things like that will be more easily implemented as the month progresses. So that's going to be the shift, and I think you can be quite motivated with a conjunction between your ruler Venus and Mars, just, you know, in and of itself. And I think you can enjoy perhaps relationships this early part, and maybe the simple pleasures of life, since Mars does rule your 2nd and your 7th house. So on the first as well, the Sun does oppose up to Neptune, so there is this important balance with the 11th house and your 5th house this month, and it starts right at the beginning when the Sun opposes Neptune. So with your 5th house, Neptune there has been for you guys to express yourself in a way that is more, you know, intuitive. It's almost like the things you create, the things you express, the things that you are passionate about have this very unlabeling type of energy to it, where you can't really put a finger on it, really define it, and turn it into something that's like concrete and of the mind. You have to almost flow with it. You have to just trust in anything that you are, you know, creating, to feel guided to do it, and then through that it'll naturally transpire, versus, you know, kind of forcing it into things, which is not, you know, it's a case for Neptune, which is complete opposite of that, where it's important for us to just flow with it. So in the 5th house, I think with all this activity in your 11th house, I think you're going to be very other oriented, or very ideal oriented, or maybe oriented towards, you know, those group projects or organizations, etc. So it's important here to balance it with your own creative passions. And again, it's more of that intuitive sense, the spiritual sense. It might be music for some of you, you're musicians. It might be very artistic. Whatever you've been working on over the past, I don't know, what is this, 5 years or more with Neptune in Aquarius, your 5th house, more of that watery, intuitive kind of creative energy. So I really recommend that stuff. I think it'll help balance out a lot of this other oriented energy, because the 5th house, opposite the 11th, is more about what's important to us. And I think finding that balance between what's important to you, which is the 5th house, and then the balance of what's important in these, you know, larger things, whatever they might be for you personally, will be a good way of finding that middle path this month. So with that being said, your ruler Venus goes station direct 5th and 6th, so a lot of things should start to move forward for you. Generally speaking, it does take time for Venus to come out of her shadow period, so it'll be as the month unfolds. And then with her now direct again in your 11th, you can certainly enjoy these 11th house matters, whether it's the groups, organizations, technological things, progressive things, etc. So that's the early part. And then on the 7th, 8th, and 9th, Mars does trine up to Uranus, which is very supportive for 11th house things, again, networking, etc. And what you'll find is that your routine has perhaps been changing, or your work environment, or at least it's been important for you to implement more freedom and more, individuality at the workplace. And a lot of that you are probably reflecting on at the moment, which is fine with, retrogrades, mostly this retrograde Uranus in the 6th, and also releasing some old, garbage, which is the South Node associated with your work, your routine, your daily environments. But here it's so important for you to do your own thing, to have your own kind of routine, and it's in alignment so that you have more freedom there. And really having more freedom in your life is flowing very nice for you, and it's very supportive towards these things. So whether you get an opportunity at the work environment, whether you get an opportunity here with any organizations or technological stuff, or with your friends or what have you, this aspect usually does mean opportunity. So be on the lookout for that. It's very supportive, and I think by honoring yourself and your routine so it is more free to you, and your work environment is more free to you, and you're able to express yourself there, you'll find that very harmonious with whatever these 11th house matters are for you. So it's very different for each of you, but these are the general energies, and then I'll let each of you obviously gauge where that is for you personally. Now, from the 11th through the 17th, we've got Mercury sextiling up to your ruler. So I think you guys should be quite sharp, quite communicative this middle part of the month. And perhaps even, Mercury, one thing about Mercury is he's recently gone into your 12th. So the energy here is where you can learn quite a bit through dream space, through more of the spiritual pursuits. And with Mercury, such a practical planet, if you do anything for relaxation that is involved in your routine, or just in general, like meditation, yoga, spiritual exercises, things like that, you'll actually find that it's helping you relax. It's helping you actually probably accomplish quite a bit, especially this middle part with that sextile up to your ruler, because the ruler is basically you in the chart, and sextiling Mercury is some good energy coming in there, and it's an opportunity because it's a sextile, but a good energy coming in when you are doing those relaxing sort of activities. And that's what this whole life path energy has been for you for the past 2 years, is to do things that are more in alignment with spirit, with God, with relaxation, that kind of thing. So, this is the end of the Zodiac, the 12th house. It's where we come back to peace. And that's going to be more major shifts for you, as there has been already with all these eclipses and this North Node energy. But over the next couple months, you'll have the fast-moving planets going back into your 12th. But up until that time period, especially this first half, certainly emphasis of that 11th. So while that's taking place from the 13th to the 21st, Jupiter will be opposing up to Neptune. So again, the emphasis of balancing self and other, your passions, and then what's important to whatever, the groups or community stuff, whatever you're involved with. And there should be plenty of opportunities continuing this month for you to expand, more networking, etc. So with this Neptune energy, again, trust, faith, and anything you are working on and very intent on this month with those 11th house things, having faith, trust, and again, coming into more self-expression, even though you may not have it completely figured out analytically, is a strong element of this, so that you can have more of that balance and relaxation and easy flow when it comes to these more, busier, group-oriented, active kind of energies of that 11th house, because there's a lot of inspiration, there's a lot of insight, that's associated with the 11th house. So most of you should be feeling a lot of that, and to balance it, you want to come into your own passions, your own enjoyments in life, etc. So that's going to be also that middle part, and then in the middle of the month on the 13th, we've got that solar eclipse. And it's right there in that 11th house. So new beginnings now. And it's always very transformative, new beginnings with the eclipses for the next 6 months, once we have the next series of eclipses in the springtime of next year. So reflection, eclipses, and especially the solar eclipse, it's an internal process. It's going within, it's thinking about these things, setting intentions, and then as the month unfolds, starting to put energy into whatever these new beginnings are involving that 11th house. So big shifts, big changes along your life path. Maybe some of you might be hanging out with a completely new set of friends. Some of you might be joining a new organization or a new community, might be getting involved with progressive or technological type of things, and that will set you off on a new path for your overall life. So very significant there, but a lot of the insight will come from more of that meditative sort of energy, this first part of it, which is the middle part of the month. Now, on the 17th, Mercury goes retrograde, and so that's going to be in your 12th house. So maybe there is some things to reflect on going into October about how you can have more meditation, more yoga, more whatever it is that relaxes you in life. And that will be assisting a lot of this 6th house energy of, work and stuff, where hopefully you have been, spending a lot of that freeing energy there. So reflect on that, reflect on spirituality, reflect on, relaxation, reflect on your philosophy on life as well, since Mercury also does rule your 9th house. I think you naturally will be thinking about that, where you're headed, where you're going, things like that. And what you learned during this time, you'll be able to implement again once Mercury goes direct in October. So around the same time period, the sun goes into your 12th. So there is an illumination taking place in your psyche, in the dream space, in the more spiritual pursuits of life. And with the sun in the 12th, it's always a time where you can see it. It's like the torch. The sun lights the torch of that 12th house, and you begin to see very clearly your unconscious self. And again, this is all that is. This is the essence of the universe. It's everything. It's God. If you believe in, a being, or, if you don't believe in, God as a being, it's all that is. So relaxing into that, having faith and trust will be increasingly important as the month unfolds. But I think naturally you will be focused on and at least attuned to a lot of those 12th house things. So from the 18th through October, into October, Saturn will be sextiling up to the North Node. And so this is quite significant for life path energies. And this is all about you guys assuming new responsibilities over the past couple of years with Saturn in the first. So continue to assume healthy responsibilities, stepping into that maturity, that grounded energy of Saturn as it has been these past couple of years. And you'll find that very supportive along these life path changes this month. So just wanted to throw that out there. It's very important for you Libras with Saturn in your first house. This is it. Next month, he'll be exiting that first house of yours, going into your second. So all of this stuff that maybe you are grounding, embodying that professional energy, that mastery of life will be very important this month. Now, the 23rd through the 27th, the sun, we got a couple things taking place. One is the sun will be conjoining the North Node, furthering new beginnings about spirituality, about what life is about to you on a deeper level. And then at that same time, Mars does square up to Saturn. So here we're all going to come to some sort of, pause, or our perseverance and our patience is going to be tested. Saturn is about those things, squaring up to Mars, which is all about action and energy and getting things done. Tends to, if it happens externally, then it does tend to put a hold on, our actions. It's kind of 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But if we are, open internally to that grounded energy, for you, this is especially important, that maturity, that patience, that pragmatism, the disciplined approach, then you can actually accomplish quite a bit this later part of the month. 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but you're still climbing that ladder, so to speak. So be patient though. Take it slow, take it easy, don't overexert. Just realize that you are being tested with these pursuits about those groups, friends, whatever it might be for you. And and then with that Saturn attitude, you can actually get quite a bit done, metaphorically speaking. It might just be that you're, working on projects with friends. You might be, maybe just spending time with friends, and then there's this energy that's coming about that's having you to, really step into that. So whatever it is, it's important to have that approach. Now, Pluto does go station direct here on the, 24th, 25th in your 4th house. So there's energy starting to move forward with your communications or with the things that you've been learning. Pluto's been helping restructure your mind and your communications in your life. So that's been an ongoing energy. Consider over the past 6 months what you did learn about communication, about exchanges, about socializing. And now that energy will slowly start to move forward going into October with Pluto going station direct. Now that's it for the major aspects, and then we have that lunar eclipse, which is taking place in that 6th house of yours, as it has been. So this is very significant. This is the high point of the month, and this has to do with, again, your work environment and routine and health and diet and all these things, which is either about self-improvement or helping others improve, which is usually our service work. So with that being said, this is a culmination of a lot of the new beginnings that shaped up for you here 6 months ago, back in May of 2015, because that's when we had the new moon. So now you're coming up to the culmination point. So for a lot of you, who have been putting in whatever inner or outer work in this sector of your life, you'll notice a culmination. You'll notice a lot of things coming to fruition now this month, especially this later part. But the most important thing with this is that you do have an illumination and awareness of your spiritual work. This is what the full moon, this is what the lunar eclipse energy signifies, a balancing of the 12th and the 6th house. And especially for you Libras who naturally have Pisces in your 6th house. So your work has to be meaningful to you. The things you do on a daily level have to have a presence about it, a piece to it, and it's balancing it. But in either case, around this time period, you'll be able to see very clearly, again, your subconscious, your spirituality, who you are on the deeper level, God, spirit, the big picture of life, while at the same time your role and your service work in the everyday experiences. Because the truth of this axis is that we can't have, they're just one and the same thing. Our service work is spiritual, and our spirituality does take work. Again, whether it's through the meditation or any other type of discipline. So these are the kinds of things you're coming to awareness as you have been with your South Node transiting this 6th and the North Node in your 12th. But a culmination, think back to around the May time period. Anything new that you did start around that time relating to work can culminate, and you can have an awareness. So continue to put energy into that. And just know, though, that it is a very spiritual month for everybody. For you, it's quite active from what I can see. But it's more of that inner nature. It's more about going within and seeing what kind of work, and how you can make your work more meaningful, more present, more compassionate, more other-oriented, and just generally more in alignment with who you really are on that inner level, which you're going to see very clearly with that 12th house energy. So that's the general gist. At the very end of the month, on the 30th, Mercury does conjoin up to the Sun, so more insights in regards to the importance of spirituality in your life. So that's the month in a nutshell. If you guys have any questions, please do let me know. This was a very general look. So if you'd like a personal reading, do click the link down below. Or for more information, check out the weeklies where I go into more detail with this. But hope this helped. Have a good month, and I will see you all next time. Take care.